For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. NewsSpin is on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on TuneIn as well as Radio Garden and the NewsSpin Facebook page and NewsSpin YouTube channel. As always, don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. In a moment, your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Unfortunately, Amanda is not with us today. She is off, so I will endeavor to go through some of the messages in the chat room on Facebook as well as on YouTube, and periodically I just might go through some of them. A little bit inundated today. A lot to discuss, particularly on the political front as we're getting all set for general elections on a particular Monday. Could be this year or it could be in 2026. But I think it is very unlikely that we'll go into the new year without a general election. So general elections can take place during the course of this year. Might go into Christmas with a new administration of the St. Lucia Labour Party or the United Workers' Party. Let's wait and see what will happen. So last evening, I had as my guest on the DBS program Newsmaker Live, former President of the Senate, Mr. Stanley Felix. And he spoke, I think, from the heart. He had a lot to say. As you would have deduced from the statement that he made on DBS television on Monday evening, he felt, among other things, betrayed by his comrades. With regard to this betrayal, you'll be hearing from him later in the broadcast. But first, he said that he had a conversation with the then opposition leader, that's before the 2021 general election, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. And that conversation centered around the fact that he had to make way for Richard Frederick to contest the Castries Central seat as an independent, because the Labour Party did not field a candidate in that general election because of this arrangement, this arrangement between the SLP and Richard Frederick. And he said that he was told that Mr. Frederick would not be a part of the SLP cabinet in the event the SLP won that general election. So he said, and you are privy to this if you watched the broadcast last evening, and you can always go on the DBS Facebook page and YouTube, you will see the interview. He said that it was to his surprise, his consternation, and that of other members of the SLP, when the then Prime Minister, as soon as he became Prime Minister, he announced the composition of his cabinet, and he included Mr. Richard Frederick. Let's listen and watch as Mr. Stanley Felix speaks on this particular matter.
Richard Frederick is in that cabinet, despite his own pronouncements privately that he would not bring Richard into his cabinet. But as soon as he won, he brought Richard, much to the surprise of a lot of people in his party and the general public. And that is only because, the whole notion of keep your enemies close. And he did just that. He brought Richard in because he didn't want to be subjected to the onslaught that Alan Shastain had to endure for 5 years.
But you said that he bringing Richard Frederick into the cabinet came as a surprise.
Yes.
And he said prior to that he would not have brought him into the government?
He told me that personally. I did ask him that question. In our discussions, when they were trying to convince me to accept the possibility of not being the candidate, I did pose the question, and they said he was not. And I was very surprised that he did. So the only reason I could think that he would do that is either because they had a prior arrangement, or because he was fearful, like you said, of being subjected to the verbal onslaught that Richard Frederick is very, very well known for.
But after the elections, and he announced his cabinet, what was the reaction from some of the people who initially told that he would not be bringing Richard Frederick in? What was your reaction?
I was surprised. And I could tell you, a lot of people were surprised. And I don't think this is, people will be surprised to hear me say that, because most people were surprised that he brought Richard into his cabinet. And that is not to say that in terms of whether he's good or bad, I just think that it was something that people did not expect, especially when you won with such a large mandate. You had 13 clear seats. You did not need Richard Frederick, and you did not need Stevenson King. But he could not have brought in Stevenson King and leave Richard Frederick out. That would have been disastrous, because the onslaught would have continued for 5 straight years. So in a sense, his hands were tied. If you bring Stevenson King in, then you couldn't just leave Richard Frederick out. So he had to bring in Richard Frederick.
Independent candidate for Castries Central, Mr. Stanley Felix, he would have contested at least 2 other general elections for that seat on a St. Lucia Labour Party ticket. Right now, let's hear from the man himself, Mr. Richard Frederick, the MP for Castries Central. There's a community meeting last evening, a joint one, involving his constituency, Castries Central, and Castries North. And Mr. Frederick says, it is time for the Prime Minister to write my report book. That is with regard to his performance since he was appointed a government minister.
But you know what? The time is now for the Prime Minister to write my report book. The time is now for the Prime Minister to write my report book and to tell the people whether he has any regrets in bringing Richard Frederick into his cabinet. So, I have done the examination, and the report book would be written on election day, election Monday. And I could tell you, Mr. Prime Minister, like my colleague said, at your behest, if you believe I have performed well, I will avail myself for further service to you and the people of St. Lucia.
MP for Castries Central, Mr. Richard Frederick, speaking last evening during that joint community meeting. Let me hear from you at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Going through your WhatsApp messages, somebody says that, let's see there what somebody is saying via WhatsApp. Okay, somebody says via WhatsApp, Tim, how many vendors have leased the vending van that RF or the caravan that RF offered them? I'd really like to know, please. Well, I don't have that information at my disposal right now, but we'll endeavor to find out. We have our first caller line. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
So, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
It baffles me. Today, what you see happening in St. Lucia, Tim, it's like nobody who is in opposition to this government and what they do have the right to speak. No one can challenge anything that they do. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, you cannot say anything. I do not want to say that they are paying people to do that, Tim. But it appears to me that the amount of people that you see on the defense, even when something is clearly wrong, these people, I don't think they're doing that for free. Because, Steve, I will not call your show. Say the government, the party I support is in office, and I see them doing some magie. I will not call your show, Tim, or I will not go on Facebook defending it. Wrong is wrong. Okay, whether it's the person I'm supporting that is doing it, if I cannot talk against it, I will keep quiet about it. But I will not call or not go on Facebook and defend it. Tim, I post some videos on Facebook. So you have the bridge between Bellevue and the Deriso area. We had the system that passed. It was Thursday last week. Tim, the bridge is still a mess. I passed there Wednesday yesterday. You understand? If the vehicle can only pass on one side because there's so much dirt and debris on the other side, Tim. Never cleaned. You have several areas. I went as far as some areas in Beaufort North and a few areas in Mikut South where there's small landslides around the area, Tim. Some places by the highway as well. Tim, none of these things have been touched about 8 days after the system. Today is what, Thursday?
Yes.
So it was last Thursday. So we can say 8 days. These things have not been touched, Tim. I remember when Guy Joseph was there. Immediately after system, cleaning up taking place. When I post these things on Facebook and I'm saying, look at that, for so long now, how many days now, the system passed, and no cleaning up. People are telling me I should take a shovel and go and clean the bridge, Tim. People, so many laborers, I'm telling you, is on that post defending the nonsense.
Why do we have a Ministry of Infrastructure, caller?
But, Tim, why do we have them? Why are we paying them? I can understand if it's a drain by your house or something, you can take a shovel and clean it.
Yeah.
But don't tell me on a bridge I have so much rubbish, so much debris, and you're telling me that why can't I go and clean it? You mean, how can you, as a citizen of this country, you understand, speak up against something that somebody is identifying and saying, look, this needs to be done. You understand? I did a video on the dump. They completely reopened the dump. I'm not saying that, okay, it's not costing us to bring rubbish up to Beglo team. Of course, yes, it's costing. But what is it that you as a government is doing, you understand, to minimize the amount of land that you occupy, okay, in Viewfort there, for that rubbish dump? Instead of them trying to find a solution to it, they're opening on it, Tim. And you should know Viewfort. Viewfort from Labrie, almost OJ Gap there to reach in Opicon, is all flat land, Tim. Viewfort can hold a city bigger than Castries. Yet still this government especially is refusing to do anything in Viewfort meaningfully that will elevate the standards of the people. Instead of you trying to find ways that you can relocate or do something about that dump, you increasing on the size. This is what we worth in Viewfort. Danny Butcher have been Kenny's henchman for the longest while. You sat there with Kenny while Kenny was doing nothing meaningful in Viewfort. Today you come in on a platform with a whole list as if your government, as if you're in opposition. When you heard the people of the Labour Party speak today on their platforms, Tim, you could swear that they've been in opposition for the last 4.5 years. You've been in government. All of a sudden in the 11th hour, every contractors all over the place. When people really needed the relief after COVID, you increase taxes all over the place on the people. Today, you know, the surrogates are coming and defend the nonsense that this government is doing. I will continue posting, Tim. I will continue posting because somebody need to highlight the wrong that is happening in this country. Have a good day, Tim.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, good afternoon. I wonder why some people always have negative things to say whenever I call and make a point. This is Alice School. Why don't they themselves call and say something positive? Have a nice day. Alice School, hello to you over in the United States. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. I just want to know the promises Joachim had made the people at Mark. Will Lisa continue them or else no vote for her? And some more of your messages while we await your calls. Tim, when will Richard Frederick be launched? He's at the meeting all in red last night. And some more messages to go through. Somebody says that good afternoon last night on your show, Newsmaker Live, with your guest Stanley Felix. They've now confirmed to the citizen of this country that the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierce, indeed has always been untrue. Wow, shaking my head. And some more of your contributions. Okay, somebody says there via WhatsApp, just trying to access as many of them as possible. Good day, Tim. PJP did not need RF or King. He would still be Prime Minister. I'm glad he took them because that destroying labor, making chess work easier. 452-2979. Let's see if we have a call on the landline. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy.
Good afternoon, sir.
Today I want to go regional and international, Timothy, and to refer to your news of the day yesterday. Every Sunday, solutions go out to these election campaigns and rallies, which have become cannibalized and bacchanalized. And we are unaware of a lot of changes that are taking place internationally and regionally. I say this because I realize the Caribbean is becoming a militarized zone, Timothy. As you know, and the Caribbean people already know, that a huge number of American warships are in the Caribbean and in South America. I want to say to the people of St. Lucia and the Caribbean, it is not only about drugs and the drug cartels. It is about rule and divide. It is about dominance. It is also about oil. It is also about regime change. I heard the American government have requested from the Grenadian government to install a military radar on the Maurice Bishop International Airport, Timothy. I could imagine what they will request from the St. Lucian government. I hope the people of Grenada will reject this request. And I hope that the government of St. Lucia and the governments of the OAS, OECS, and CARICOM would voice their concerns when it comes to what the Americans are doing. We live in a very peaceful region. We rely heavily on tourism and the fishing industry. We don't want a militarized region. We want a demilitarized region. We already have guns and ammunition coming into this country. Heavy powered weapons coming into the region. If there is a war, Timothy, I can tell you the problem will become far worse. We want dialogue, peace, and unity. A war in the Caribbean will not benefit us. More arms in the Caribbean will not benefit us. It will only benefit the Americans. Timothy, I thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We're trying to see if we have some more of your messages. And maybe I could go through the chat room to see if we have any comments that's worthy of reading. Bear with me while we try to see if we have some of the comments. And somebody says only St. Lucia that doesn't brief their people because they got so much distraction in their administration. And another one says he's talking about report book. I've always known it to be a report card. Maybe that book is full of failed policies. A comment extracted from the chat room on Facebook. Can anybody tell me who is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and the supporters of the SLP who are the leader or is the leader of the parties, RF or EH, etc.? All right, let's see if we have a WhatsApp message to go through. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, I don't think PJP administration is paying attention to what's happening in the United States. I think it's all about protecting the victory to them right now, and they are blind to the fact of what's happening, what is brewing. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Fue.
Yes, sir. Bon après-midi.
Bon nouvelle, Fue.
Mwela Kachibi.
Good afternoon, Amanda.
She is off today, sir.
Okay. So PW can deal about demilitarized zone. PW can place real power on that, sir. Yeah? PW toujours la raison. Stick to sa café up a plaster. Come parle about militarized zone like this and that and the other and the foot. Anyways, Tim, are you familiar with the Nuremberg rallies held by the Third Reich in 1920s to the 1930s?
No, sir. Tell me about it.
Okay, so the Nuremberg rally is essentially like a Nazi propaganda rally where they went around tricking the German people into believing that things were not the way it really was so they could get support from the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see a similar pattern in our small country, Tim. Every other Sunday, rum and chicken, and propaganda, by the SLP party.
And where is that money? Where is that money coming from to host those rallies, Scholar? those lavish rallies, because it takes money, a lot of money to finance those rallies, huh?
Question, Ma pedo, Fue. I don't know where the money coming from. They cannot pay Police Welfare Association. They cannot pay police back pay. Look why the Prime Minister promising police belt. Because our country is seeing so much shit. I don't even know what to say right now. Except for sounding like a broken record and reminding the people of St. Lucia of Alan Shastney and the UWP's plans for our country and economic development and economic growth. Because right now, I am Aaron. Last time I heard Keith Mondesi arguing with me over Ward on your show about, was it Mondesi or one of the Mondesis? About a park. Oh, have you seen a park that was built in Grozily when she was talking about development? A park in Grozily is development. Not mayors that responsible for playgrounds and those kind of things. The federal government supposed to come and, like PJP opening a children's park and taking pictures. The federal government responsible for that. And not local government business. Not the mayor of Castries have to open parks and do those kind of stuff.
Or the mayor of Grozily. Grozily has a mayor.
Until?
The mayor of Grozily. I mean, those are T-boutique projects, you know. Ought to be seen as T-boutique projects.
Which T-boutique? These are things like local people donate their money to, like, okay, a philanthropist, a local philanthropist will donate money to build a children's playground. I don't see what the government, and then they have the supporters in droves. Oh, our government working. Because St. Lucian people are stupid, except the NewsSpin crowd. We are stupid people, Tim. We still backwards, Tim. As long as we can back an Allen party. Look at the time of COVID. Look at the time of COVID when the SLP used that and said, oh, the people are tired of being cooped up against, you know. They went against everything the WHO. Big countries were following, Canada, European countries following those protocols. And then the SLP coming out and making it seem as if like Alan Shastney is trying to take the rights of the people and make, oh, the people are tired of the people want to go to bars. Because St. Lucian people are stupid, Tim. Our whole lives is centered around partying and dancing. As long as we can get a little booze, get a little food, and have a good time for the 5 minutes, we okay. Look at what the Prime Minister said. In 50 years or 40 years, he won't be around. That's our thinking. That's our mentality. I remember I mentioned the 1,000-year plan one time on here, and somebody was in the chat room telling me, oh, Kola, you're going to be around for 1,000 years. So what if I'm not going to be around for 1,000 years? That's not how people think. The things we enjoy today, the people who developed it.
I don't think St. Lucians are stupid. I think sometimes we're just not socially conscious. I think a lot of us are just too gullible, and we are also short-sighted. Increasingly now we have a lot more people who are educated. I don't know what we are doing with that kind of education, but definitely we're not using it in a useful manner for the benefit of the wider society. Maybe we're looking too much, from a personal standpoint, what we can gain from it and so on. But I don't think that we can say outrightly that, St. Lucians as a whole, are stupid. A lot of them just do not care about what is happening around them because they are so disappointed in our leaders, and they have just given up.
No, Tim. Where do you think we get the leaders from? We get them from the people. The leaders are stupid too. It's not just the people. Most of the leaders are stupid too, Tim. Upatan se buksa le se buksa kapalo. Upatan se kuyon tia kasota fijay se buksa. Upatan se papishwa se buksa kadia. Like people, election is gonna be on a Monday, and everybody's like, oh yeah, boy, you know what the PM say, boy, election gonna be on a Monday. Okay. You understand what I mean?
A lot of those people, I mean, they are not so sophisticated, but if it's one thing, they are loud. So because of their loudness, we give an impression that this is representative of the entire St. Lucian society. That's not the entire St. Lucian society. You have a few people making a lot of noise, drowning out everybody else.
I already separated the NewsSpin crowd, from the rest, cream of the crop, apart from that, the rest of them, Tim, you can try and paint it how you want. It's just pure stupidity. Even the educated ones, the ones who say, okay, oh, I have a degree. I went to Monroe College and da. Yeah. And so what? Where's your critical thinking? You lack that. You have none. Zero critical thinking skills. Even to date. Evidence is presented to them. Okay, let's take, for example, Alan Shastney and the vaccine money. Okay, Shastney was duped. Whatnot. We're trying to retrieve the vaccine money. The average solution will tell you, Shastney will have vaccine, no. Even now,
you see, again, caller, those people are in the minority, but it's just loud. Those people was making that kind of statement. Number one, they have not read anything about this particular venture, this transaction.
But Tim, that's the majority of our people. Okay, I was listening to our friend the Appa. I was endorsing him up until a couple of days ago. I was listening to him, and then it's just bullvine stupidity coming out of his mouth. He went on a rant saying, Moses Jean-Baptiste encouraged St. Lucian to take vaccine. Now people just showing up and then they have a shoulder in their paid. Oh, Moses Jean-Baptiste, you give people St. Lucian's vaccine and now the vaccine killing people. Come out and like what kind of, like, this is the thinking of majority of St. Lucian's team. This stupid team, they read things on the internet in little snippets and then they start running with it. Or they hear somebody say it and they just start running with it. They don't really take the time to investigate what's going on, you know. They just hear something and because it's popular, or maybe it's because it's anti-establishment, and they just start running with it, Tim. That's why I tell you this stupid Tim. They don't take their time and dig deep into anything, Tim. Whatever you say to them, as long as it sounds good and it feels good, that's good enough for them. If the educated ones, the uneducated ones, they all make the same mistake. They all think along the same lines. Majority of them, Tim. Just go take your time and just go speak to the common man. And you will see what I'm talking about, Tim. It's just bullvine stupidity, Tim. All around, Tim. Anyways, I don't want to take much more of your time, so I shall have to say,
all right, sir.
End here and we shall talk another time.
Thank you so much for calling.
Have a great.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Somebody says there in the chat room via YouTube, Tim, trying to find the right phrase. Tim, you just defend the level of stupidity. The caller is on point. Let's see there. That's somebody says there. That's in the chat room on YouTube. Caller, I refer to them as parrots. You have done the call, this time via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello?
Hey, good afternoon, Tim.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes. All I want to say about that government there. Philip JP need to apologize to Richard Frederick. Because for so many things he said about the guy, now I need to apologize to the guy. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your point of view with us. Let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Stand by. We're trying to go through as many of your WhatsApp messages as possible. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, good afternoon. I would like to ask the minister with responsibility for ports, who was Blue Boy sold to? How much was it sold for and why was it not publicized? I see the same pattern with the lands at Latok that was sold to a young lady who was living in Dominica. We need these deals to be advertised so that others can have an opportunity to invest locally. That is according to a WhatsApp message. And somebody says that the empty vessels always make the most noise. And another WhatsApp message. Tim, what happened to Guy Joseph the last election? It will happen to Lisa Joseph because of the rep she has at Mark. That was the same person who caused Menisa Mbali to lose her seat, so she has to be very careful. We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes, hello, Tim.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim.
Good afternoon. Caller, you're on the air. Turn down the volume of whatever device you are using to listen to the program, and then go ahead.
Okay, Tim.
Yes, sir.
I heard the last time I heard that in the House that Kenny Anthony was the Deputy Speaker of the House.
Yes.
Since he has resigned out of active politics now, who's the Speaker? Who's the Deputy Speaker of the House now?
No, he is still a member of Parliament, sir. He has not given up his seat as a parliamentary representative or elected member of Parliament. You understand?
No, but he has resigned out of active politics.
No. He basically he's on his way out. After the next election, somebody else will be elected MP for VA4 South. So it'll be either Appa, either Lady Lee, or Butcher. But he's still involved in the politics, caller. He's still an MP.
Because what I was saying to
he's still a member of the House, caller. He's still a member of the House. You understand?
Yeah. I thought since he has resigned, he has given his baton to somebody else.
No.
That means that he's finished.
What could have happened is he could have given up the seat as the parliamentary representative. Then you need a by-election. You understand?
Very well. That's what
Right.
I was thinking of.
No.
By now we should have a by-election since he has given up the baton.
That has not happened.
Yeah, that's what should happen anyway.
Okay, that's your point of view.
Okay, Tim. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, where we continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Let's see if we have a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. All right. Let's see if we have a call via WhatsApp. Just bear with me. We're trying to see if we have any of your messages to go through. Okay, let's see if you have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. Okay, what was that call? Okay, please stand by. We're trying to go through a WhatsApp message. Okay, somebody says there via WhatsApp. Tim, this is a message posted in the group by a past principal who currently holds a prominent position in a particular community. The ignorance is too much. Message posted, how are we for Shastney? That man has a blight with our money. Thankfully, we will be getting the $7.3 million back to do something more constructive. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Peter Chico.
Yes, Mr. Chico.
Candidate for cash release.
Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I listened to your Newsmaker live show yesterday, the snippets you played. And Stanley made a damning statement during that interview with you, where he said he was approached by the Philip J. Pierre and his members asking him to step aside for Richard Frederick. Am I correct?
Yes, sir, and I played the clip
Is
earlier
that
on.
what he said?
I played the clip
There you go.
earlier on as well.
But you remember, when they decided to form the alliance, Philip J. Pierre said that he had never had a discussion with any of the members.
Yes.
Stevenson King said he had never had a discussion. But here is Stanley saying that he was betrayed because they asked him to step aside in order for Richard Frederick to become a member or to run the seat as an independent. And he was assured by the leader of the then leader of the opposition, Mr. Philip Joseph Pierre, that he would not accept Richard Frederick or Stevenson King as a member of his cabinet. And he did exactly what he said he was not going to do. So, with all of the lies that we have heard before, that one coins it all. Because when you see those individuals continue to bluff people and to lie to people and to try and make people believe that there is no secret deal, this is a government all of secrets. So I wanted to just bring that out to St. Lucians. And second, I want to just mention something about the matter, the CCJ matter that Mr. Shastney was pursuing against the control of customs. I want to tell all St. Lucians, take note, because if it was any one of y'all would have been at Borderley. That matter with Ernest Hille, I was the one dealing with that matter. The matter went to court 7 times. The first time we went into court, we asked for an adjournment. The DPP's office asked for an adjournment because we had so many documents that the DPP office suggested that we make sure the matters we file, the documents we submit are specific to these 3 matters. So they gave us 7 days to compress our files specifically to the 3 matters. 2 weeks
I suspect we
later,
have... Okay.
we went back into court. A private citizen, Ernest Hille as a private citizen, came in. Ernest Hille had 11 lawyers who dealt with these matters over the 7 adjournments. When Ernest Hille now becomes a minister of government after July 26th of 2021, Ernest Hille moved from a private citizen, Leslie Mondesi moved from a private lawyer to a government minister. Ernest became a government minister, and Leslie Montesi became the Attorney General. They appointed a special prosecutor. The special prosecutor said to me, and he wrote it in a letter to me, indicating that the Attorney General, who was the defense lawyer, the private defense lawyer, has the responsibility to speak to anybody, including the Comptroller of Customs, and to resolve the matter in the best interest of the government. Remember, Ernest Hille was a private citizen. Leslie Mondesi was a private lawyer. They are now government officials. But the matter was now settled in favor of the government. So the defense lawyer now becomes a government lawyer, and the minister now becomes the government. So now the case was transformed from a private lawsuit into a government lawsuit. So technically they say now that the state now becomes the defendant, right? The state now becomes the defendant, and the lawbreakers now becomes the state. And this is what we in St. Lucia have accepted. Team, if this is not corruption, if this doesn't spell corruption, nothing else will. But I want to tell Ernest Hille, Leslie Mondesi, and the St. Lucia Labour Party that their time is at hand. And St. Lucians must take that action against that, because this is not right, this is corrupt, and St. Lucians need to stand up against that. So I say to them, like it is written in the Bible, fear not, for those persons who allowed Ernest Hille to escape with that, because they know very well, if they did not remove me as Comptroller of Customs, that case would not have gone away. You saying to me, I went to court 7 times. We had 7 adjournments. They removed me within 2 months of them removing me and replacing me. The matter was withdrawn. Within 2 months, the matter was withdrawn and the vehicle was returned to Ernest Hille. To date, Ernest Hille has not given up, not even a sheet of a ply of toilet paper regarding that vehicle, or a sheet of paper to show that he is the owner of that vehicle. But the vehicle is given back to him, and the state compensated Ernest Hille for loss of use. Team, this country is in a bad place. And until we do what is necessary to fix this country is destined for domination. Team, I thank you for your time, and I thank all St. Lucians. Stand up against this level of corruption in our system. Have a good day, team.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Former Acting Comptroller of Customs, Mr. Peter Chico, is now the United Workers' Party candidate for Castries East in the upcoming general election. And now this story on a ruling by the Caribbean Court of Justice. This story aired last evening during the DBS News World.
Caribbean Court of Justice (CCJ) has dismissed an appeal brought by Alan Chasney against the Comptroller of Customs, ruling that the legal challenge was legally misconceived. The judgment concerned an appeal brought by the former Prime Minister challenging the withdrawal of customs violation proceedings against the current Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ernest Hilaire. The court found that the participation of lawyers from the Director of Public Prosecution's office in the case did not mean the DPP had officially taken over the prosecution, as the DPP himself had never made such a claim. The CCJ's judgment was delivered by the Honorable Mr. Justice Chili Ibe Osiji.
We note that the DPP himself had never claimed to have taken over the matter. We further hold that pursuant to Section 73, subsection 4 of the Constitution, only the DPP has exclusive authority to withdraw or discontinue criminal proceedings on his own.
The CCJ's judgment hinged on a key legal principle. It stated that once the magistrate granted leave to withdraw the case, the Comptroller's initial decision to withdraw merged into the magistrate's judicial decision. According to the doctrine of merger, the only decision open to challenge was the magistrate's, not the Comptroller's. Since Chasney did not challenge the magistrate's decision, his attempt to seek a judicial review of the Comptroller's action was invalid.
Accordingly, once the magistrate granted leave to withdraw, the Comptroller's bureaucratic decision to withdraw the prosecution merged into the magistrate's judicial decision. And according to the doctrine of merger, the only decision that is open to challenge is the magistrate's decision, not the Comptroller's antecedent step. Since no challenge was brought against the magistrate's decision, judicial review of the Comptroller's decision was legally misconceived. Further to the disposition of the appeal on the merits, it was considered important to underscore the need for clarity when the DPP assumes control of a prosecution. Recommendations in that regard include formal written communication, public notice, and reflection of the change in the style of cause.
He referenced an opinion offered by the Honorable Mr. Justice Dennis Barrow, which highlighted an illogicality in the case, noting that if the Comptroller lacked the authority to withdraw the charges, he equally lacked the authority to reinstate them, as Chasney had sought. The court dismissed the appeal and made no order as to costs. In its ruling, the CCJ also recommended clearer procedures, such as formal written communication, for when the DPP assumes control of a prosecution to avoid future confusion. The judgment was unanimous.
The story was aired last evening during the DBS News World. When we come back, former President of the Senate, Stanley Felix, says he was unceremoniously fired. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. Free crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Good and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, brand new flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back. Finger licking good.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for Tunes. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Lucy Select. No more paper, no more mess. less. Easy billing, no stress. Use my account to pay online. Pay your bill at any time. Get the stress off your mind. No more standing in line.
Visit LucyLeg.com today and sign up to my account to pay your bill. Request a temporary or new connection or switch an account to your tenant's name. Do it all online.
Personal, paperless. Use the virtual service desk. Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with LucyLeg.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home? We've got the mortgage. Starting your first business? Count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. It's coming. Sunburnt.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
NewsSpin calling. NewsSpin calling. NewsSpin calling. Across the land, all across the world, echoes of voices, we join hand in hand. Harmony rise in the afternoon sun. Come along, NewsSpin has begun. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Truth from St. Lucia to sandy shores, from cities and hills to the Caribbean breeze. We sing together, hearts at ease, education to open every mind. Learn about your country, leave no one behind. When we NewsSpin is on your radio, come along hands in hands, voices in unity, singing loud. NewsSpin, News the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. St. Lucian's heart to the world's every land. Knowledge unites us hand in hand. Yeah, Tim on NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Tim on NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. NewsSpin is on education for all, from city streets to mountains tall. Learn your history, share your dreams. Together we light the world with our flame. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Yeah, NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world.
the law says a person is innocent until proven guilty. But for me, it was by the Prime Minister's action, it was the other way around. I was guilty, and then I had to prove my innocence. So by firing me, they were the first ones to send a message as if like I was guilty, because you fired me. I'm paying a price, and I have not even been deemed to have committed the offense that I'm alleged to have committed. So it was totally wrong, you know. So because of that, and having not met with me for over a year after I requested to speak with him, of course, I had to try to redeem myself and to recoup some of the damages, some of my loss. And so, like most people, I sued the government, which was my right to do.
When you did that?
I did that maybe a couple days before the expiration of the period by which I would have had to sue them. And that was sometime, I think, sometime this year, I believe.
Okay.
Early this year I did that. If I hadn't done it, I would have lost the opportunity, because nobody was coming to talk to me. So I sued the government. There are plenty of people before me who have sued the government. And it's not something personal. It's not something against the Prime Minister. I'm not suing any individual person in the Labour Party or the government. I sued the government, right? That's what you do when you believe that you've been wronged and you're looking for redress. And we went to court. Would you know, Timothy, that at the very first hearing, the judge said, and I quote him, "I will advise both parties to enter into discussion with a view to settling this matter." Those were the words of the judge. The Attorney General's office, their legal representatives, told the court that yes, we are going to enter into discussion. These discussions were never held. When we went back to court, they said that they no longer wanted to discuss. They wanted to proceed to trial. I met with the Prime Minister. We had lunch. And I told him, again, he said, he never knew about that. He never knew that the judge had said this. So I told him yes. And he told me whether he was going to consult with the Attorney General, and whether he should. I said, you should. And whether in fact he wanted the Attorney General, whether in fact he should tell the Attorney General that I told him. I said, yes, please do. Tell him that I told you. Yes. And so I'm waiting to hear something. I met the Attorney General. He told me prepare a proposal. So I'm thinking, okay, having spoken to the Prime Minister, common sense had prevailed, acting on the advice of the court that maybe that they were considering, and that is the impression that the Attorney General gave me. He asked me to prepare a proposal for settlement. So I looked at my claim and I trimmed the fat around the claim, and I asked for the bare minimum. I asked for my lost wages, I asked for my gratuity, and I asked for my duty-free concession, my entitlement to a duty-free vehicle. That's all I asked for. Time went on, and nothing was done.
If you don't mind me prying,
Please
that
do.
that amounted to how much?
Not much.
Okay. You will not disclose?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much. I think it was somewhere around $400,000 or $500,000.
Okay.
Somewhere in that region. Okay? And which was nothing compared to what I would have claimed for. I had claimed for. The damages that I claimed for, it would amount to much more than that. But I trim all the fat around the claim, and I asked for just that. Special damages. Yes? And to my great surprise, I was very surprised, I got a letter signed by the Attorney General. Obviously, he would have had to have consulted with the Prime Minister and or the Cabinet of Ministers, informing me that a very threatening letter informing me that my claim, it is their opinion that my claim has no merit, and that if I consider withdrawing the claim, that they were not going to ask for cost in the matter. So they had jumped the gun, and they had decided, oh, okay, that you're going to lose anyway, so if you withdraw your claim now, then we're not going to ask for cost. But if you continue with the matter and you should lose at a trial, then our posture would be different, meaning that they would ask for cost. I thought that very disrespectful, and my interpretation of all of that, and this is where I realized, if I had any doubt, that this government, my so-called comrades, they were nothing but traitors. They treated me as that. They behaved like traitors. Because the court advised one thing. You led me to believe that you're going to settle, and you come back and say, oh no, we're going to fight you instead. So you fired me without saying a single word to me. You took away everything, my pension, my gratuity, my wages. Had I not been a lawyer, Timothy, I'd be down and out. How would I take care of my family and my responsibilities? I'd just be out of a job and maybe begging somewhere for somebody to give me a job or to do something to make money. They just left me. Is that how you treat a person that you consider the comrade?
Just heard there from Mr. Stanley Felix, independent candidate for Castries Central and former president of the Senate. He was my guest last evening on the DBS program Newsmaker Live. So let us backtrack. Mr. Stanley Felix appointed president of the Senate in August of 2021 after the SLP won the general election. In October of 2022, on the advice of the Prime Minister, the Governor General revoked his senatorial appointment. Felix was arrested, by the way, in October of 2022, and he was charged with perverting the course of justice. But that charge was dropped against him in March of 2024. So Mr. Felix, based on what he just said there, felt he was wronged in that, according to him, he was ceremoniously fired from the post of president of the Senate, and he had lost all his benefits. So he therefore sought redress by taking the government to court. When he went to court, according to him, you just heard him say that a judge advised that himself and the government go through mediation to settle this matter, which was not settled. I think up to now, it has not been settled. And therefore, against that background, he feels betrayed. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, Sir Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Let me begin by saying this, Tim. I want to acknowledge that whenever I call, you give me mucho leeway to say what I have on my mind. I acknowledge that because I want to beg you to give me just a teeny bit more than normal.
Let's go along.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tim, you don't, let me put it, I'm calling it exactly what I'm going to do. Anyway, you don't accommodate callers who phone in to say so-and-so lied, usually in matters of public interest, because that's what most of the calls are made to you are about.
And particularly it's not a straightforward case and you don't have the evidence.
It's all right. I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm making a point. I am saying that most, if not all, the calls made to NewsSpin are calls relating to matters of public interest.
Yes, sir.
You agree?
Yeah.
And most of those calls are made on the basis that they can't get an official air, that there is no accountability in our government, and so on and so on. So that they call your show to vent there. Of course, depending on what government is in office, they use the available shows for their own purposes. I need to say also, it's very, very, here's the word. So you don't like lie. Even when, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, Tim, I'm just making a point. You don't like the word lie, even though what the guy is saying amounts to somebody not telling the truth because there is evidence of this and that, or the person is talking on a public matter and he's telling you his own experience, which you have no way of proving.
Mm-hmm.
But just so long as the guy doesn't libel anybody, I would have thought that the lie, when we can accept the word lie in certain circumstances. I'm not saying you should. I'm going to be very careful. But you accept not telling the truth, being economical with the truth, all those. You accept all those words that mean lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's like the N word. We all know it means nigger, but we're going to curse on about the word nigger and actually wrap ourselves around the N word when we know damn well the N word means nigger. So why use either of them? So today you have a caller, and I could feel this guy's pain. I don't know if he's local or if he's overseas. I suspect he's overseas because you can tell he feels the pain. We out here, we don't feel any pain. And the guy used the word, he said we were stupid people. Was that an overseas guy?
Yes, calling from Canada.
There you go, Tim. There you go. Okay? And these things are important to know. So you disagreed with him. You allowed him to say it, but you disagreed with him. And you substituted instead, well, I would say we don't care. You use a term that I missed the second word. Socially something you said.
Conscious.
Socially conscious. We are gullible, and a number of other words. Don't those words total up to stupid?
Because, you see, caller, what, Rick? The caller was saying St. Lucians are stupid.
Pardon?
He said St. Lucians are stupid.
Yes.
Giving the impression that the majority of the 180,000 people in St. Lucia are stupid. Now,
yes.
I am not of that mindset. I
You
disagree
don't have
with
to
him.
agree with him. And
I disagree with him.
Stuff and give a point of view.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it, you know. I'm just pursuing it. That's why I asked for a little leeway today. If all the evidence shows that stupidity rules, because there are very few things in the country that every single person contributed to, you know, and that's another stupidity, by the way. And even the brightest guys, when they think they're going to keep quiet and get a couple of dollars and don't support a truth or support a lie or keep quiet, that too is stupidity, Tim. So all the other things it is also stupid. So all those bright guys who think they're going to play with the politicians at the expense of the country, they have progeny. They have children coming up, their children's children. And when you screw a country that's long time screwed with no resources, the recovery rate is going to be pretty bad. So I am in a total agreement with the guy, stupid. Another one we do, Tim, I asked us a little leeway.
Yeah.
We keep talking about leaders.
But hold on there. Before you go into this, I have a good friend who watches the program from the United States, and she says there, characteristics often associated with a stupid person: lack of intelligence, a general dull of mind or slow-wittedness, poor judgment, making unwise, irrational, or senseless decisions, lack of common sense, a deficit in practical judgment, and the ability to understand the world around them. Poor problem-solving ability, she explains, an inability to correct mistakes or consistently come to the wrong conclusion. Lack of self-reflection, an inability to see contradictions in their own statements or to learn from their experiences. But that's not the mindset of the majority of St. Lucians. So I cannot characterize against that background, St. Lucians are stupid. No. Anyway, continue, Rick. You're talking about leaders. No. I'm talking about the caller, the Canadian caller.
Yeah, but she is correct. Now, I applaud her. Because we cannot sit there and say, it's like the thing, I'm always using it. You order a barrel of mangoes, and then you find that only that 99.9% of the mangoes are rotten. So you complain to the guy you ordered the mangoes for, And he said, but Rick, you said the whole barrel is rotten. There are 4 that are not rotten. That's what we're talking about here. The few who you would not call ordinarily stupid, they act stupidly, Tim, by being complicit with things destructive to the country, by accommodating wickedness in the country.
That's not stupidity, Rick. That's not stupidity. I mean, that's being venal. That's, I mean...
Tim, let me tell you why it is at the end stupidity, because the guy is so smart, but he doesn't realize what he is doing there. He will pay for. His family will pay for. His progeny later down the road will pay for. He's so concentrated on today, but he doesn't understand by keeping his mouth shut, he's helping to cause a precedent. By keeping that's why people can't be neutral in a lot of things. You can't be neutral. You have to say something. And if you say nothing when you should have spoken, you're stupid, because you allow something to become a precedent, to take place. It's now on the books, and you're going to say, well, but I didn't vote, or I didn't say this, and that was that. That is stupid. So I am fully in agreement with your not a caller, she wrote you a note, and she gave you all of those things that amount to stupidity. That's what I'm getting at. The actions. I mean...
Okay, the point about leaders. Point about leaders.
Your point, here's another stupidity again. I was going to ask you, what percentage of our parliamentarians would you consider you worth following their lead?
A very small percentage, at least.
That's my point again, but we call them all leaders.
Yeah,
These
just
guys
about
are not
a few
leaders.
percent.
These guys are elected to do certain work, which they don't do, and they spit in your face if you try to question them on it. And we take it. That's a stupid country. Right now in America, Donald Trump is pulling a few things, going to Chicago and bringing in reporters, and a number of people have turned around and sued him. And the courts are now putting the brakes on it to consider those people's voices. There you have the most powerful guy in the world, and a relative handful of people, maybe 12, have lodged suits against the President of the United States, because what he is doing, to their mind, is bringing the country closer and closer to an authoritarian rule. Here we don't care.
But what about the perception? What about the perception, Rick, that Americans are stupid for electing him the second time around, considering what they went through the first time?
And there are a lot of people who say that.
And the Americans are not stupid.
They're not stupid. Tim, you have to,
For having elected him again, you agree that they are stupid?
Listen, that is a hell of a comparison you're making.
I think the issue is, Rick, is more nuanced than we're making it out to be. It's more nuanced than
Tim,
that.
we are paying very much for our complicity, for our stupidity, for our saying that's not my business and whatnot. That is generally stupid. And that is more important than fighting over are the Americans stupid or what. The Americans have all kinds of other things in place. You see, the Americans, when they elect somebody who turns out to be shit, they turn on him. They go to the courts. They take their court things all the way to the Supreme Court. That is the difference. The Americans know that when they elect somebody, he might turn out to be rubbish, but they can do something about it. When we elect people, but we know we're rubbish, and despite knowing we're rubbish, we put them in there, and then we can do nothing about it. I want to come now to that. So the leaders, we have no leaders.
Rick, we can do something about it. We choose not to do something about
that's why we're stupid, Tim.
Because we're selfish. Rick, it's not stupidity. We are selfish. We know exactly.
Selfish,
Rick, we know exactly what we are doing. We know what we are doing. It's benefiting us. That's not stupidity. That's
being
greed.
Selfish in a community is stupidity. That's what I want you to consider. Because you cannot afford to be selfish in a community like ours. You can't afford to do that with all the problems we have. So if you are doing that, it's because you are selfish, yes, but selfishness in those things is stupid. So you get something for yourself. But soon you're going to cause a whole bunch of criminals to rise because they are denied what you have a lot in your pocket. So that is stupid. You're creating crime. So that is what I want you to give some serious consideration to what the guy is saying in terms of the word stupid. That's why I deliberately asked you a little leeway. A lot of the things we do, there are other words for them. But ultimately, they add up to stupid because we're destroying our country for ourselves and those who follow us. So those people who first of all, we should stop referring them as leaders because we wouldn't want them to lead us anywhere. Call them by what they are, parliamentarians. That's what they are. And because when we end up calling them leaders, they believe that. And I'm there to lead you. But they're not. These people are not fit to lead anybody. Now,
on that leader's point, I agree with you because as leaders, they don't have the kind of mindset of independence. Okay, they're not independent thinkers, and that is why I've been saying that our leaders, our parliamentarians that we call leaders. I'm saying I agree with you that a lot of them are not leaders; they are followers, and that is why I've been saying over the last few years that I'm so disappointed in our female MPs who are just following, towing the line, maintaining the status quo and not looking after the interest of other women in the country who are suffering. Now, that does not amount to stupidity. It amounts to selfishness.
All right. Now, but I'm telling you. Now, look at what. We agree that is selfish. That is taking care of themselves and to hell with the other people. So what you're going to do when to hell with the other people, they start turning into crime, and you can't control the crime. When your police forces have them corrupt as a result of you being corrupt and setting bad example, that is stupid. And that's why I want to agree with the guy. I can use other words, man. I can use corrupt. I can use all those words. But being corrupt in a little country like that, especially in government, is stupid because it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. That is how I'm using the word stupid. So the leaders again. We should stop referring to those guys as leaders and call them what they are. And finally, Tim, I want to just touch on the last one. And thank you very much for giving me so much time. The Hilaire matter. I mean, the minute that result was announced, posters going up, vindicated what? Vindicated what? There was no case involving Chastney and Hilaire before the court, you know, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
There was a case as to whether the controller has the legal authority to pull out a case. That's what the thing was about, you know.
Yes.
The details of the case have never been up, and I'm surprised what's his name called you, and I've stayed out of that case because there's so much stupidity in that case, number one. When Chico called you, I've kept away from that. Because even Chico did not make the point that the case was to determine whether the controller who pulled the charges, who canceled the charges, pulled the matter, withdrew it, had the legal authority to do that. Okay, and it turned out the court says yes, he had the legal authority to do that. Now, Tim, just think about how crazy that is. The details, you know, the details of that whole story, how crazy that is. But we would not think we should change the law so that we have a proper, we deal properly with matters such as came up there. You just change the controller and automatically the controller has history with you, the AG has history with you, personal history, all those things. Nobody's thinking of conflict of interest. And conflict of interest is not written in stone, you know. It is the perception of conflict of interest that's the problem, you know, Tim. The perception is the problem. Once people start thinking, well, the AG is his friend, or that one is that friend, they begin to think that we're not going to get fair play there. So we have to do away with any possibility that allows people to think it's friends at work. You know, scratch my back, I'll scratch conflict of interest. So why don't we think now that this is wrong, and the people, because we would like to, wouldn't you like to get the details? Because what Alan Chastney did there was he has now set the precedent. As things are now, we know now that the controller can pull a case just as he can put one, he can pull it. We now know it. We didn't know that before, obviously.
Yeah.
So we know that. So that is the value of those cases. Okay. Now we've learned that, and we're not happy with that, especially look at the details we have in this particular case, party. So why don't we start demanding the law be changed to accommodate something better? In all those years in 1979, how many laws have we amended that are not strictly colonial and etc.? How many? Tim, we are stupid because we are spitting at the sky all the time. Even when I fight you and you fight your brother, that is stupid. There are other words, but it's stupid because it's going to kill you and your family and everything that's good around you. It's going to kill you. So we are stupid tolerating the things we should not tolerate. Thank you very, very much, Tim Paul.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Somebody says there, good afternoon from Texas. Listening to the discussion with you and Rick, I'm in agreement with you as to not characterizing the national citizens of St. Lucia as stupid. Also, leadership is not a title, it is a characteristic. Also, the corrupt leaders are not stupid. This is done with intelligence and purpose. It is unethical. Stupid is a lack of knowledge. This is done with extreme, deliberate, and purposeful intent. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, some more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and Prime Minister Philip JPS says, why are you calling King a snake? He's no snake. Back in just a bit.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow, hein. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Prendre pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pompe glo Léo en pour les 9, juin et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Essier, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone Salah. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas venir moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. Fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. 3 crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Good and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, brand new flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back. Finger licking good.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique de Corps, because time is vital in health.
Are you building, renovating, or just looking to add something to your property? Then look no further. The Block Factory has all your concrete product needs in stock. From 4-inch to 12-inch concrete blocks to high-quality concrete pavers at an affordable price. Whether your project is big or small, we're ready to serve you. Visit us today on the Cul-de-sac Bextor Highway, right at the entrance of Farron, next to the Stone Surgeon. Top quality blocks await you. Call us at 720-6752. The Block Factory, building your future one block at a time.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, St. Lucia. I am Ezra the Fun Machine, and I'm inviting all proud and patriotic St. Lucians to the St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show happening at the Pavilion on Rodney Bay from the 7th to the 9th of November 2025. Let me tell you, the best and brightest entrepreneurs will showcase their talent and creativity, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a vibe. Hey, there'll be a cooking competition, karaoke, and a fashion show by Rafati. On Friday, November 7th, yours truly, Ezra the Fun Machine, I'll be in the building performing live. And on Saturday and Sunday, entertainment will be provided by the Impulse Band. Come celebrate our brilliant entrepreneurs at the 18th St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show, November 7th to the 9th. Opening time 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily at the Pavilion in Rodney Bay.
This is the most monitored talk show. Somebody says there, another election year and still no affordable housing for the poor. Take a look at what Dominica is giving to its residents. Another person comments, my definition of stupidity is to follow blindly and not question and not think for yourself. To think of I and not we or country is stupidity. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And somebody says there, Tim, the SLP administration is simply buying and wasting time with regard to Stanley's claim. They will leave it for a Chasney-led UDP government to pay him. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Another contribution. Somebody says there, Tim, we are stupid. I strongly support Rick. Our legal system is broken. There's no justice, and you know that. It all goes back to our stupidity, our ignorance. Rick 5 time. Okay. We're going through, let's see there. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. No, Tim, stupidity is not a lack of knowledge. Ignorance is. Rick is 100% correct, and so too is your contributor. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge or information, while stupidity is a lack of intelligence or an unwillingness to learn. The key difference is that ignorance is a gap in knowledge that can be filled, whereas stupidity is seen as a more inherent or stubborn trait that involves poor judgment or the refusal to learn from experience. In terms of the nation, yes, you can generally say that a nation is stupid. While a nation is not a single mind, it can still be considered stupid for the following reasons. When a collective culture rewards incompetence, tolerates corruption, or ignores history, it acts stupidly. Such stupidity often stems from emotional politics over rational analysis, short-term gratification over long-term welfare, national pride masking collective denial, apathy toward truth, and accountability. So in essence, stupidity is the rejection of knowledge. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Tim, I just have a problem with Stanley Felix talking about betrayal. When Stanley Felix was the president of the Senate, he found himself in a big case where they say trying to change the course of justice. Stanley Felix went to court. Stanley Felix won the case on a technicality because they did not charge him for what he did. That doesn't mean he didn't do something wrong.
Caller, don't go there. Don't go there. A court
ruled. But we have to go there.
No. The court ruled on perverting the course of justice. He was charged, and the court ruled in March of 2024. Don't try and interpret.
No. Not me. Not trying to change it.
No.
Listen to.
I'm saying to you.
Listen.
I am saying to you. Don't try to interpret it, because I'm sure you have not read the judgment. You don't understand the nature of the case. So don't play avocat ti papier on that particular issue.
But Tim, it doesn't change the fact that he won on a technicality because they gave him the wrong charge. They didn't charge him for what he do. It's like you rob something and they charge you for rape. So when you reach in front of the court,
so why didn't they reopen it? Why didn't they reopen it on another charge?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But you don't know. You don't know the nitty-gritty of the case, caller. You don't know. So why deal with something? Why deal with something that you don't know? Do you know?
Well, you tell me. If I don't know, you tell me. So I'm wrong on what I say.
Because I will not. I will also not venture into this because I have not read the judgment. I have not read the ruling by the judge on this particular issue.
Well, when I watch it, Stanley Felix betrayed the government by being in that position. Sitting at the time, they just passed that new law where he was sitting on it. You know, all that new law doing is benefit lawyers. You ever anybody get any big charge or something happen to anybody for any gun charge since they passed that new law? Stanley Felix was sitting on. He just did something to benefit him as a lawyer.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much for calling. And Stanley Felix is on the line right now because this is the most monitored talk show in the world. He's been monitoring and he's on the line. Mr. Felix, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you, sir. Hi, good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Felix.
You would note that I'm not a regular caller.
Yeah.
You would note that I'm not a regular
Just
caller.
hold on. Do something for me, please. Just do something for me, please. The device you're using to listen to the program, turn it off, and then you can continue with your contribution because there's a little feedback. Yes.
It is off.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was saying that you would note that I'm not a regular caller to your program.
I don't think you've ever called me.
Because of last night's interview, I kind of felt that people may be calling to express their views, and I'm true to form. This last caller talked about I won a case on a technicality. I don't know where he got that from. What was technical about it? You know, the case I was charged with perverting the course of justice, and the court said, without even a trial, the court said the evidence that the prosecution provided did not speak to the charge. It did not reflect the charge. So it means that there was absolutely no evidence at all. So there's nothing technical about it, and there's no other charge that they could have preferred against me. So I want him to understand that. And other people who have said that, I did not win on a technicality. I won because there was no evidence of what I was accused of. And there was no substitute charge. And that is a fact.
So this is analogous to somebody being charged with murder, and then you realize that the person does not have a charge to answer because he's nowhere connected with any murder.
Exactly. I was charged with perverting the course of justice, meaning that I interfered in a matter that was before the court, or a matter for which a person who was involved in a matter. There was no such evidence. the person that I went to see was not involved in any matter, was not charged for anything. He was not a witness. He was just a suspect in custody. So the charge was not founded, and the court said that there was no evidence of that, and they fraud the charge. So where is the technicality?
But allow me to ask you one question, so which I failed to ask you last evening, is where is that matter now between you and the government of St. Lucia? Since, according to you, the judge said that it should be settled through mediation, and the government did not agree to this.
Yeah, that matter is still before the court.
Still before the courts, okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
It's headed to trial, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Independent candidate for Castries Central, Mr. Stanley Felix. All right, let's hear now from Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre defending Mr. Stevenson King, the MP for Castries North, against claims that he's a traitor and he's a snake.
They call King a traitor, a snake. Let me tell you what a traitor does. A traitor use... See, you guys... I tell what we tell me later. A traitor stays with you. He uses you to win, and then he goes. They call King a traitor, a snake. Let me tell you what a traitor does. A traitor use... See, you guys... I tell what we tell me later. A traitor stays with you. He uses you to win, and then he goes.
Political leader of the SLP, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, speaking last evening during that joint community meeting involving two constituencies, Castries North and Castries Central. Let me turn our attention now to the NewsSpin question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day reads, what is the mood in St. Lucia? Simple question. What is the mood in St. Lucia? The NewsSpin question of the day. Finally, the NewsSpin news of the day. It reads, U.S. airstrike near Venezuela may have killed 2 Trinidad citizens. United States airstrike near Venezuela may have killed 2 Trinidad citizens. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the YouTube channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.